Hello, today we will be working on answering what questions. First, I'm going to ask a couple of what questions myself. Just for example, what day of the week is it? And what color is my shirt? Today I'm not working with a student, so I'm just going to rehearse my part and pretend like they are answering my questions. Today we are going to read Misty Morgan, one of my sister's favorites. If you gaze beyond the crashing waves and rolling tides to a place where the sea becomes sky, you would find an emerald city where rainbows begin and the moon rests after each night's journey. It was from this island that dreams come forth and spread themselves like a gentle fog across the land, bringing children bits of delight when they closed their eyes and went to sleep, dreams of a gentler time and place. Now on the island of dreams was a castle, a magnificent thing of heavy stone draped in ivy with a worn wooden drawbridge that was always left down. Hanging from every wall were clocks that ticked and talked, and the whole day through. There were alarm clocks, cuckoo clocks, grandfather clocks, and even a grandmother clock that hung beside the stove in the kitchen. It was in this castle that a princess lived, a very pretty princess dressed in pinks and purples. The very pretty princess lived by time and time alone. She would rush from one clock to another, always checking the time. She was always rushing here and rushing there, crying, "Can't be late." Everything here was on a schedule, and time was the master and the princess was the slave. So I would stop and ask what was hanging by the stove in the kitchen. And hopefully if they were paying attention, they would say clock or maybe time things or things that call time. And then I would also ask another what question, like what color was the princess's dresses? So it's just pinks and purples. Now the princess didn't live alone on the island, for she had a friend who was a wonderful unicorn by the name of Morgan. He had a coat of silver hair, and his tail and mane were woven of silk and satin. He wore upon his head a horn that was twisted like golden taffy. Morgan loved to play and frolic in the forests and meadows of the island of the Emerald Isle. He would munch on branch of clover and sip some dew from the honeysuckle vine over there. He would chase after butterflies and kick at the sun, for his life was his own and filled with fun. Now, for a child that might need a little bit more of a challenge, I might ask him or her to describe the scene that I just read. And hopefully they would say there was a unicorn that was silver and he liked to eat clover and drinks from honeysuckles and play in a field. That would be an acceptable answer to me. One day, Morgan went to the castle to play. His hooves thundered and rumbled as he walked across the drawbridge, looking for his friend, the princess. He clicked his way down the cobblestone hallways, peeking in here and sniffling in there. Suddenly, the princess dashed by, running hither and thither on her carefully scheduled rounds. Morgan tossed his mane and stomped his foot, anxious to play, but she rushed on. "I do not have time to play right now, silly unicorn," she said as she looked at her watch. Maybe later, maybe later." With that, she was gone in a flurry of skirts. Morgan didn't mind. He had plenty of time. So he went outside to wait. He watched the sun slip from morning to noon. Excuse me. And then, sure that he had waited long enough, meandered back to the castle of time. Once again he clicked and he clacked his way back inside to play with the princess. He found her winding a clock that had lost its talk. Again he tossed his mane and stomped his foot, eager to play. Silly, silly unicorn, she said impatiently as she yanked on the cord of the cuckoo clock. I don't have time to play right now. Come back later. And she was off again, doing those things that needed to be done right now. Now, maybe for a child who was having a little bit of difficulty, I would ask him or her a what question right now. I might ask, what time was it when the unicorn went outside to wait for the princess? And if he or she had a little bit of trouble answering that, I'm like, well, I might give him a little hint. He watched the sun slip from morning to noon, and then maybe ask the question again. So, what time of day did the horse go outside and play to wait for the princess to play? And that's all I'm going to read today. But those are a couple examples of a what question while reading a story with a group of children. It's a great way for them to really engage and pay attention to what is being read to them, also as well as extract information from what is being said. Thank you.